All right, we are back with that recovery, and right now Tony Williams just doing his burnout as he is backing up. You see, he stopped at about 450 feet, and he has got a lot of real estate to back up. Got a Millington, Tennessee, as we are currently once again in the Stroud Safety and Equipment Pro Modified category, continuing this qualifying session. We got our J&A Service funny cars in the lane. And once again, Stroud Safety Pro 420. First qualifier. If you're not in the lanes, we need you there now. And right now, Tony Williams debuting into this qualifying session. Gonna have to go faster than a 365.8 if he wants to see the top spot. Only 3 currently sit in the 3s. 3 people sit in the 4s, 2 in the 5s, 1 in the 6, 1 in the 9. The last 5 spots, everyone had to lift. And Tony Williams had to lift, obviously having an issue right on the launch. You heard it kind of bogged down there. And he had a 189 reaction time with a 1.2 60 foot. So Tony Williams gonna get that. He's gonna go get that off track. Will sit in the number 11 spot. And the moment we get him cleared off track, we're going to run that Jaco Logisman out of Finland. So, this car coming up right here is the car we were talking about earlier, formerly owned by Todd Martin himself. Well, it's Todd's former car, now owned by Kerry. And Jaco Logisman, once again out of Finland, piloting this car. Crewed by Jan. Wow, look at that. Went about 150 feet on the burnout. Comes to a stop right about 360 feet as he's trying to find reverse. And right now, I do believe Jan getting ready to back him up. Jan, once again, the whole crew out of Finland. And Todd Martin's former car. Todd, one of the co-owners here of Tulsa Raceway Park, going to be leaving this Tuesday for Australia. Going to be going down under to run the horsepower. Oh, that could have been Kerry, the owner. All right, Kerry, the owner, was the one backing him up. So right now, Logisman starts the car rolling forward. See the spotter bringing him right into the groove that he was laying down, trying to keep him in that groove. When you're running a certain kind of tire, you lay down that rubber. You want to back up on your own rubber so you can launch on your own compound. And Jaco looking for that pre-stage beam, finds it, stages, and launches right down the middle and goes 373, beating yesterday's 375. I'm going to tell you right now, the message is going to Finland, and I bet they're watching. His phone is about to blow up as he goes to the number 2 spot right behind Aaron Wells. Aaron Wells with that 365, but it's Logisman with that 373. The finish record was 386, but right now, well, he got taken by someone from Finland right here at Tulsa Raceway Park. 201 mile per hour. Welcome to that 200 mile per hour club. And right now, Tony Estrakin. Currently rolling up to the starting line right now. He's out of Alvarado, Texas. And he comes to a stop right about 280 feet, backing it up. You see backup spotter going to get a Stroggen. Keeping him in the groove, saying, hey, stay straight, go left, go right, stay straight.
That pass was the fastest Pro Mod pass has ever been in Finland. And 84 was the...
All right, Tony Estragon, getting ready to make that right lane single pass. Has the, well, going down by the Lonesome in the Grand Prix lane. And the stage light's on. Oh, he turns it sideways. Literally, that car jumped into the air, went airborne, turned sideways. He landed and immediately killed the power because he was looking at the wall. The moment he killed the power, he steered into it when it landed, and it rolls to a stop right about 100 feet. They're looking and talking to Tony right now like, are you okay? Because I'm sure he took a little side G. They're going to get him pushed back right now.
You know, that was so violent that it probably could take.
Well, sitting up here right now talking with Dina, you had kind of a good point. With how hard he jumped, what do you think could have potentially happened there?
Well, you know, there's times where you can shake so hard that it will actually cut the power on its own.
And that was a real violent, I mean, he literally bunny hopped it off the line, landing it sideways. And as he went into the air, he turned the steering wheel so when it came down, he would be pointing down track and not at the wall that he was looking at. And like you said, the moment he landed, there was such a violent left to right jerk on the whole chassis that it possibly could have actually cut the power on its own. But regardless, they're going to get Estragon's car off track here, back through, and they're gonna take a quick peek. And with that temperature dropping out there, that's amazing. For those of you that got any pit vehicles right down here in front of the race control tower, just a reminder, kind of keep this area open in case we got to get any cars off track. Right now, we hear car firing up. It's going to be Brad Lewis. And Brad Lewis out of Wagoner, Oklahoma with the 1941 Willys Coupe. Looking to debut into this qualifying list. This thing's got horsepower. It's grumpy. You're going to hear that grumpiness come out of the burnout in about 1 second. And he does a burnout all the way to almost 80, 90 feet. It comes to a stop right about just before the 8th mile. Pretty sure they just heard that over at the Tulsa airport. And Brad Lewis going to be making that right lane single pass in the Grand Prix lane. Again, looking to see if he wants to get in the top 3, he would have to beat a 373.8. Mark Werdhausen sits number 3 with that 373.8, but it's the Finnish Logisman who sits second with a 373.0. And the number 1 qualifier, Aaron Wells, sits at the top with a 365.8. Where's Brad Lewis going to fall into line? We're about to find out. All right, attention in the pits. Attention in the pits. We need the UEM Pistons top dragster first qualifier to the staging lanes. Once again, UEM Pistons top dragster. We need you in lanes 9 and 10. Wow, Brad Lewis straight down the middle goes 372.6, 200 mile per hour, and goes to the number 2 spot. Right behind Aaron Wells. That was amazing. All right, thumbs up to the drivers, and first pair is going to be Keith Haney himself, your points leader in the Stroud Safety and Equipment Pro Modified category in the Black Mamba. Right on the car, you know his name, co-owner of the Tulsa Raceway Park and founder of the Midwest Drag Racing Series. Going to be going up against Aaron Wells in this second qualifying session. Right now, Aaron Wells going to be in that 67 Ford Mustang out of Edmond, Oklahoma. And the Black Mamba, like a viper, with a burnout. Aaron Wells, the number 1 qualifier, getting ready to back up as Keith Haney approaches the starting line. We're going to find out. Keith Haney looking to get back up at least into the top 3 of this qualifying session. And you see both crews paying attention to their drivers. Nitrous purge coming out of Haney's Black Mamba, Aaron Wells. They're trying to get as much smoke out of that car as possible, and the doors are closed. They want Wells to go just like an inch or 2 to the left as they bring him up to the line. All right. You said that was de-icer? Just a little bit. Goes into the blower hat right now. Last one in is going to be Keith Haney. Will he get to the top 3? Both of them lift. Haney goes right back into it and runs a 4.018, 187 mile per hour, and goes from the number 9 spot, climbs 3 into the number 6 spot. Now Keith Haney now sits ahead of Michael LeBate, and Aaron Wells stays at the top. Right now, Kurt Riffle waiting patiently at the ready line with Mark Werthausen. Sounds like Kurt Riffle just fired up that 66 Chevelle. He's out of Newton, Kansas. Currently sits number 12 on the list. And Mark Werthausen out of Seymour, the number 4 qualifier. So far, top speed of a 215 mile per hour. right, well, the number 4 qualifier, Mark Werdehausen, with a low ET of 373.8. Kind of rolls forward as he's waiting for Kurt Riffle's crew to bring Kurt up to the line. Little interesting fact that Dina was just telling me about, Werdehausen loves working with the kids. If you get an opportunity, go down to the pit. He loves getting pictures with the kids in the car, around the car, and then has a little special profile where it shows the joy of each kid that has been a part of being in and around that car. So if you get the opportunity, go check out Mark Werdehausen's pit later on. He's nicknamed Tito. That car is owned by the Zimmerman family from Zimmerman Properties. Tito. And he just tears down the track, has to get off throttle right about 360, 370 feet. Not sure what happened with Kurt Chevelle, but it just sat on the line. I think he's just going to drive it down to the top end and get it off track. Mark Werdehausen. Going to stay number 4 from that previous run earlier of a 373.8. Oh, Werdehausen's car is called the Wolverine. So if you want the kids to get a picture with Wolverine, go down to the pit. They'll get you hooked up. Ed Thornton, the number 2 in the points series, currently sits in the number 10 spot. Unfortunately, had to lift earlier. He is in the Crower lane, that left lane. Unfortunately, during the lift, only ran a 5:15. That's why he sits down at number 10. Michael Abate also had to lift earlier. Took a stab at it. Got a little bit more speed, low ET on it, but still sits number 7 with that 4:17. They're looking to increase right now. So right now we need final call, final call. All right, final call, the J&A Service Funny Car, and first call for the Stroud Safety Pro 420. This will be your second qualifying session. We need you to the lanes now. It's, once again, first call for the Stroud Safety Pro 420, and third call, J&A Service Funny Car. We need you in the staging lanes. We see some of the funny cars there now. We need the remainder. And now we have called Stroud Safety and Equipment, Pro 420. Come on down. Right now, as they're building up the RPM, getting into the stage, and they're off. Solid, but it's Michael Abate who loses traction, and Ed Thornton rockets to a 222 mile per hour pass, goes 382.0. Ed Thornton goes from the number 10 to the number 5 spot in 3.8 seconds. Right now, we got Chris Giuliano waiting patiently at the ready line. And Jaakko Logisman out of Finland. Who's going to be coming at us next? Cars are fired up now. And this car, formerly owned by Todd Martin, now owned by Kerry and Ulla Lausmop. Now I'm going to tell you right now, You've got Chris Giuliano over there out of Armenia, Missouri. That 67 Mustang sits number 9 on the list with a 471.5. Obviously had to lift earlier, but we're right now looking at Logan's man, who sits in the number 3 spot. At 201 mile per hour earlier, ran 373. Yesterday, he broke the record in Finland. That was 386 with a 375 yesterday, and tonight in the first qualifying session broke it with a 373. Can we see a 372? We're about to find out. Final checks and preps as they're rolling up to the line. First one in is going to be Giuliano to the pre-stage. Can Jago Logisman beat 373 as he stages the car? .383.2 at 188 mile per hour. So we'll stay number 3 from that previous run in the first qualifying session. We are getting ready to fire up the points leader, Keith Haney and Ed Thornton, coming in second right now.
Yes, we're good now.
They're going to be running next in the continuance of this third qualifying session. We are just waiting for them to clear the top end of the drag strip. When we get that cleared, we'll put water down into the water box and kick the ignition in these cars. Got a huge day ahead of us here at Tulsa Raceway Park, as this is once again the final stop before the World Finals in Texas in 2 weeks. There's the signal as water goes down into the water box. We'll be coming up next with some serious horsepower. Just a reminder, after Funny Car, the Stroud Safety Pro 420 will be following, so you are now on standby, Pro 420. You are now on standby. You're going to want to start getting towards your pit areas and wait for that call. All right, we're good to roll, and they're giving the signal. Fire them up. And Keith Haney fires up the Black Mamba. You know his name. He is the co-owner of Tulsa Raceway Park and also the founder of the Midwest Drag Racing Series and your current points leader. And the Black Mamba out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, coming to a stop right there about 200 feet. Got the door open. He's trying to get a little fresh air in there. Ed Thornton in the 1970 Camaro, going to be putting down that Grand Prix lane. Yesterday they were breaking loose a lot, so they did not get some full qualifying passes. And in this qualifying list right now, Haney sits number 8 with a 401. Still ended up going 187 mile per hour. Ed Thornton sits in the number 6 spot with a 382 and a 222 mile per hour pass. But once again, the current number 1 qualifier, Aaron Wells, sits in the top spot with a 365.8. And right now, we go back down to the starting line. Got the nitrous purge coming out of the Black Mamba. Thornton's crew checking out that wheelie bar height, getting ready to roll him forward. They're going to bring him up into the groove. They want to go just a couple inches to the left, straightening it out. Right now, we're looking to get 2 solid A to B passes. We're going to see if we can climb any spots. Currently, like I said, Haney sits 8, Thornton number 6. As they're bumping into the stage beams now, Haney sets the tree, and they're off. And Haney Haney goes into tire shake. It turns the car hard right, and Ed Thornton drives right through the finish line with a 373.7, 215 mile per hour. Goes from the number 6 spot up to the number 4 spot. And he sits right behind Jaco Logisman, who has a 373.0, so literally 7 thousandths away from Logisman. On that qualifying list, and that was a tough break for Keith Haney, who he was looking real good, but it started some tire chatter right about that 60-foot mark, and he was trying to get it to hook up, but it started to pull to the right toward that center line, and the moment he got out of the groove, Haney said, you know what, hey, we're lifting. We'll bring it back around for round number 1. It's currently right now, as we are waiting to clear the top end of the track, we are going to be waiting patiently for Stephen Whiteley of J&A Service, one of our sponsors, who will be going down that Grand Prix lane, and Robert Costa will be coming up down or in the Corolla lane. And the signal is given to light them up. There we go. I hear the ignition. Whiteley out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Going to be in the 1963 Chevy Corvette number 10 qualifier with a 496.6. Robert Costa out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, sits number 7 in that qualifying list with a 386, right behind Mike LeBate. And we got a beautiful day here at the Tulsa Raceway Park with the Summit Midwest Drag Racing Series Throwdown in T-Town. Not a cloud in sight as that sun climbs up. We are coming up on high noon here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, attention in the pits. Attention in the pits. Final call, Janie's Service Funny Car. If you're not in the lanes, we need you there. And first call, Stroud Safety, Pro 420. We need you to lanes 5 and 6. Once again, this is first call, Stroud Safety, Pro 420. We need you to staging lanes 5 and 6. J&A Service Funny Car, if you're not in lanes 4 and 5, we need you there immediately. Looking up at the lanes, and I'm only seeing a couple of them right now. Once again, this is final call for the J&A Service Funny Car. Third qualifying session, we need you in the lanes right away. Well, we're going into the race. And it's Steve Whiteley, straight down the middle, goes 363.1 at 209 mile per hour. Goes from the number 10 spot right up to the top spot, sits now, is your number 1 qualifier. Bumps Aaron Wells down to the number 2 as he goes 363. Wells had a 365. Climbs 9 spots on that list. Robert Costa, you saw immediately, goes into tire chatter within 30 feet of the launch, and that thing pulled hard right. Costa had to get off throttle as Whiteley drives to the top. Just waiting on the next pair to come at us right now. The number 3 qualifier, Brian Lewis, going up against the number 6 qualifier, Mark Werdehausen. And Werdehausen, nicknamed Tito. You can go down and get pictures with the kids down there in that car. Brian Lewis out of Wagner, Oklahoma. Got the 1941 Willys. Oh, got the 1941 Willys over there in the Grand Prix lane. Best run so far was a 372.4, 201 mile per hour. The top speed so far this weekend. Werdehausen with a 373.8. Low ET for Werdehausen so far with the top speed of the weekend of 215 mile per hour. We're going to see if we can't improve that right here as they're doing their final checks inside the cars. Once again, second call. Second call, we need Stroud Safety Pro 420, third qualifier to lanes 5 and 6. Second call, Stroud Safety Pro 420, third qualifier, come on down to lanes 5 and 6. Final checks and preps as the crew members walk away from the cars. Here on out, it's all on the drivers as they roll them forward to the pre-stage. Last one in is going to be Werdehausen to arm the timing system. He's bringing it up on the RPM, and he's in. With an 093 reaction time, but it's going to be Brian Lewis drives right around him with a 371.1, 202 mile per hour. You saw Mark Werdehausen going down the track. It looked like he was struggling as that car was going left, right, left, right, left, right. It just had a little bit of wiggle. Not sure what was going on there. It didn't really look like any tire chatter, but there was a lot of chassis shifting going on. So rolling the 1940 Willys forward through the burnout. He's out of Lee's Summit, Missouri. And boy, do you hear the horsepower coming out of Aaron Wells' Ford Mustang. There he goes into the burnout now, turning and burning. He's out of Edmond, Oklahoma. We're going to see if he can improve on that 365.8 if he wants to go to the top spot. He is only 200ths away from reclaiming it. Stephen Whiteley earlier was in number 2, the number 2 qualifier, knocked down Aaron Wells to second in that qualifying list, and Aaron Wells looking to reclaim the top spot. He's going to have to beat Whiteley's 363.1 to move back up. Blake Housley looking to make it solid A to B run and jump a few spots. Spotters get them up into the groove and they clear the track. It is on the drivers as they're getting into the pre-stage beams now. Last one in, Aaron Wells gonna light the tree. Here we go. And wow! You see that? Aaron Wells broke 330 beam with the rear tires right about 280 feet. The front end came up and went back down after the 330 block. He goes 365.9 at 208 mile per hour. Stays number 2. But broke the 330 with the rear tires. He did the same thing yesterday. That thing really builds power right about 280 feet. I wonder if we got that on camera. That was impressive. 2 days in a row now. Would have had a faster 330 had he had the front tires on the ground. But right now, looks like we're going to send Chris Giuliano down by his lonesome. Chris out of Benia, Missouri, the 67 Mustang, going to be going down the Crower lane. And currently sits number 11 in the qualifying list with a 425 at 131. He had to lift off throttle yesterday. Right now they are trying to get Giuliano's Mustang lit. He's already tried the ignition twice, and wow, it roars to life. That Mustang on that third ignition got all 8 cylinders fired up. Giuliano's starting to roll forward. looks like wants to go a little bit to the left. And here goes burnout. Nice little tire scrub. Does about a 80-foot burnout. Well, I had more like 60 feet. All right, once again, J&A Service Funny Car, you are going to be coming up next. You need to be ready. Might as well start getting them suited up. As you guys see in the lanes, you're already rolling forward. Good on you. Stroud Safety Pro 420. If you are not in the staging lanes, we need you there immediately. All right, attention in the pits. Attention in the pits. First call. We need the UEM Pistons top dragster. UEM Pistons top dragster, third qualifier. And it looks like Chris Giuliano right down to the top end with a 380.50, 194 mile per hour. Moves from number 11 up to the number 9 spot. Sits right ahead of Robert Costa, who had a 386, and he now sits behind Mike LeBate. Once again, first call, UEM Pistons, top dragster to the staging lanes. We need you in lanes 9 and 10. This will be your third and final qualifier. And right now, we got Jerry Hunt coming at us. You see all that duct tape. He hit the wall yesterday during the burnout when he hooked up to the track. And he's being a little more cautious on the burnout today. He gets off the throttle right about 50 feet. He's like, yeah, we're not doing a replay of yesterday. And it's a good thing he's got that 200 mile per hour tape on there instead of that 60 mile per hour tape. There was really nothing except cosmetic damage. Yesterday, he was in the right lane doing the burnout, went all the way to the 300-foot mark, and it started to swing out on him. When he let off throttle and the car hooked up, it swung hard right, hard left, and it swung around. He wasn't able to recover it. Made contact with the wall. It spun him around, lifted up the passenger side before it slammed back down. He came to a stop. He was just fine. And like I said, after a little duct tape patching, you know what? Duct tape saved the Apollo 13 mission. So in all honesty, it just saved Jerry Hunt so he can make another run. Down the track, 338th mile, goes 385.3, 193 mile per hour. Moves up into the number 10 spot, right behind Chris Giuliano. Literally 3 thousandths of a difference on the qualifying list between Giuliano and Hunt, as Giuliano has a 385.0. And who do we got coming at us next? It's going to be Tony Williams. We're making some left lane single hits here. Williams out of Millington, Tennessee. Sits 14 on the list. Broke the tires loose. Ended up crossing through the finish line during yesterday's qualifying session at 33 mile per hour. I'm going to guarantee you right now the Opticoat. Right now, he was just going faster in the burnout than he did yesterday in the qualifying session. Tony Williams, nicknamed the Sandman, has set a number of personal bests this season. This is the 7th season of the Midwest Drag Racing Series, brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment. And he has over half the track real estate to go backwards in reverse. Right now, spotter backing him up into the groove that he just laid down. Sandman comes to a stop. Little throttle whack before he's going to be brought forward up to that pre-stage beam.
All right, everybody on the start line. Check.
As he rolls up into the pre-stage beam now, he finds it, and now just a couple inches will clear into the stage beam. Like a bullet from a barrel. He goes down to the top end with a 380 with a 379 mile per hour. And it looked like he had, right after that 330, it kind of started to lose a little bit of power. Goes number 9. So it climbs a couple spots on the list. Now sits ahead of Giuliano and right behind Mike LeBate. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to kick the tires and light the fires as we go into Pro Mod Elimination. Coming at us next, commentating on the microphone, I'm Justin Norvler. I'm down here with Dina Parisi, who's going through the pits. And we'll be back here shortly. Stay tuned for Pro Mod. This mic ain't working.
Is that the one you just had?
Yeah. This mic's literally, check it. I got nothing. All right, well, we finally got our microphone back. Not sure exactly what happened there. Looking down at the top end, Aaron Wells just cleared the top end of the track. This is Pro Mod. This is round 1 elimination. Once again, I want to thank everyone for being a part of us this weekend. Both the racers, the sponsors, the fans, and the staff. Next pair coming at us. Next pair coming at us. It looks like we're going to have Tony and Strachan out of Alvarado, Texas. And right now, we're going to see Strachan look to make a move here. Each time making the run. Well, we don't see Strachan down there. Was supposed to be going up against Aaron Wells. He is broke. He will not be present here on the starting line. Aaron Wells has the competition by right here. All right, so some final preparations going on in Aaron Wells' Ford Mustang down there. He is the number 2 qualifier. Low ET 365.8 with the top speed of the weekend so far, 208 mile per hour. Tension in the pits. Tension in the pits. Funny car. That's right. We need the J&A Service Funny Car. Round number 1 elimination to the staging lanes. J&A Service Funny Car. Your lane assignment is 7 and 8. This is first call. J&A Service Funny Car, come on down to the staging lanes. Aaron Wells rockets to the finish line. 369.2 at 206 mile per hour. You saw Aaron Wells right about 250 feet. The front end started lifting up. I thought he was going to break the beams with the rear tires, but literally set it down just before that 330 mark. And all the way down to the top end, breaks that 200 mile an hour mark. Top speed, though, was 208 earlier. But Aaron Wells with the win light going on to the next round. And now, getting ready to come at us next, Kurt Riffle, the winner of the burnout contest. Going to be putting it down that Crower lane on the left side. It'll be a 66 Chevy Chevelle. Low ET for Kurt was a 637, and right now, after breaking loose numerous times, looking to get a solid hookup to the track and get around Brian Lewis. Brian Lewis going to be coming at us out of Wagner, Oklahoma. Got the 1941 Willys Coupe. And that Willys Coupe just fired up. Once again, this is round one elimination in your Stroud Safety Pro Modified category. Currently, right now, your points leader in the series, Keith Haney, before we go to Texas in 2 weeks. You got Ed Thornton sitting number 2 right now. And all these drivers, right now, points is everything. Win lights are nice, too. Right now, you look at Brian Lewis's crew, they are checking the wheelie bar height on that Willys. And now Brian Lewis starts rolling forward. Kurt Riffle's crew bringing him up to the line now. If we could get 2 solid hookups to the track, we could see 2 impressive runs. Once again, we've had a beautiful Saturday here at the Throwdown in T-Town. This is the Ostage Casino Hotel, Tulsa Raceway Park. Here at the Summit Midwest Drag Racing Series. And the tree is set. Here we go. Whoa! And Kurt Riffle gets it sideways. Brian Lewis hooking up to the track, gets right out front before Riffle almost crossed the center line. I think he did cross the center line, but he steered it right back. He saw Brian Lewis go right by the front bumper. And Brian Lewis, top end of the track, 200 mile an hour in 660 feet, goes 376.2. And if you think about it, Brian Lewis went 1 city block, 200 mile per hour in 3.7 seconds. When you look at the standard city block size of 660 feet, that is 1/8 mile. And that's what he just did. So, nice run by Brian Lewis. We'll see Brian in the next round. They're just going out to check the track, clear the top end, and we're coming at the next pair coming at us. It's going to be the number 2 points. In points, Ed Thornton will be in the Grand Prix lane, the 1970 Camaro. There it is. Or no, that's D-Bar-D Racing. Robert Costa out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, sits in the Crower lane. Yeah, that is Ed Thornton over there in the Grand Prix lane. Right now, in this weekend's event, currently Ed Thornton, the number 5 qualifier, low ET of the event so far, 370.37 with a top speed of 215 mile per hour. Robert Costa, low ET was a 386 at 189 mile per hour. Final checks going on Costa's car. We're about to roll Thornton forward. All they got to do is just finalize the wheelie bar adjustments. Got my man Braden down there on the camera. All the live action shots on the starting line.
Do what now?
Want to thank again all of our tower staff, our safety safari crew, all of our ticketing people, our maintenance. Maintenance has done a great job keeping everything stocked, cleaned, emptied. They've done a fantastic job, so we say thank you. But right now, we go back down to the line as Costa and Thornton are about to face off in round one. And thank the fans. You bet we're thanking the fans as Thornton goes in. Whoa, and it looked like Thornton got real loose, and at the finish line, Robert Costa puts out a whole lot of smoke signals. We are sending out our half-track 8th mile spotter, going to look at that lane right now. The winner obviously going to be Robert Costa. Thornton getting it really sideways. Everybody was focused on Thornton until Robert Costa went poof. So we are going to go do a quick track inspection before we come back. Back to the flowsports.tv stream as we are down here at the Throwdown in T-Town. This is the Summit Midwest Drag Racing Series here at the Osage Casino Hotel, Tulsa Raceway Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right now we are currently in round one elimination in our Stroud Safety and Equipment Pro Modified category. We got Mark Werdehausen out of Seymour, Missouri, coming at us in the Grand Prix lane. And this is going to be an easy win right here because Werdehausen was supposed to be going up against Jerry Hunt. However, Jerry is not there in that 67 Camaro. This will be a competition by and right now, as Mark is backing up, he's got the nickname Tito. That's actually Tim Slavin's former car before he passed. Car is currently owned by the Zimmerman family of Zimmerman Properties, one of the sponsors of the series. And Mark does like to have kids come down, taking pictures in and around the car. So if you get an opportunity, go down and see Tito, Mark Werdehausen. Well, Mark, the number 6 qualifier with a low ET of the event, 373.8, looking to improve on it right now. They're not just racing each other, they're also racing the clock. They're racing their own time. They're racing against their own speed. And he's got a top speed of 215 mile per hour. And here we go. Mark Werdehausen rockets out of the gate, down to the 330, 8th mile. Whoa, gets way close, and it was the parachutes that straightened the car out. I'm going to tell you right now, very nice. He improves both time and speed, so a good run there when it comes to the time and speed of 372.4 from a 373 with a 216.6 mile per hour over a 215, so definitely improves time and speed. However, right towards the finish line, that car looked like it was out of the groove, ready to come around, and the moment the chutes deployed, it straightened it out, saving it from anything happening at the top end. Mark Werdehausen got a really nice run there, and that chute deployment definitely straightened it out. So right now, we go back down to the starting line, and we got Tony Williams and Michael Abate. Well, it looks like it's going to be your points leader with a bye right. Wait a minute. We're going to find out. We're looking at this pairing right now. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, regardless, the Black Mamba's running, I'll tell you that much. That's Keith Haney himself, your points leader in the Pro Modified Series. And Keith Haney out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Getting that Black Mamba backed up right now. You got Jaco Logisman out of Finland. And that is Todd Martin's former car. We were talking earlier. He's been working with the Team Finland. That car is now owned by Kerry, being driven by Ulla Lausmop. Jan's the crew chief. And as of 2 days ago, the record in Finland was 386. Well, guess what? Ulla broke that 2 days ago on Thursday with a 375. Yesterday ended up beating the new record of a 375 with a 373 yesterday. So Logisman, there was a lot of international chatter going on. A lot of high fives for Ulla Lausmop. Right now, Keith Haney looking to get down to that finish line first to go to the next round. Each round is points, and right now, Keith Haney is your points leader in the series. Oh, it's a pedal fest, but it's Keith Haney getting the win and going to the next round. Wow, we saw both of them get off throttle. They realized they both were off throttle, so they both went back into it. And Keith gets down to the finish line first with a 396.5. Wow. All right, attention in the pits. Attention in the pits. Calling to the staging lanes. We need the Stroud Safety Pro 420. Round 1 elimination to lanes 5 and 6. Once again, calling to the staging lanes. Stroud Safety Pro 420. Round 1. We need you to lanes 5 and 6. Right now, Michael Abade waiting patiently in the Grand Prix lane. Oh, both of them firing up at the same time. He's out of AIB, New Mexico. Tony Williams putting down the Kroger lane. And Tony Williams already doing the burnout, is itching to get down track. He's out of Millington, Tennessee. You see our start line crew going right down there to the left side of the groove. Saw something come out of the car, kicking it off. Michael Abate on track for his best ever Midwest Drag Racing Series points finish. That is a car known as Angry Bird, and I'll tell you what, how angry that bird is. Well, it killed one of our blocks earlier today. Yesterday, killed another block. There's styrofoam. So Michael Abate's low ET of the event, 377.1, with a top speed of 208 mile per hour this weekend. Tony Williams with a 380 with a 3. Looking to improve right now. Michael Abate is the number 8 qualifier, but now we're in round 1 elimination. Clearing all that real estate to the pre-stage beam, and there it is. Who's going to the next round? We're about to find out in less than 5 seconds. And both pedaling it, but it's going to be Tony Williams getting to the top end first, even though Michael Abate went 208 mile per hour. It was Tony Williams getting to the top end first by 0.03 of a second with a 386.1. Yep, Tony Williams got him on a hole shot. He left the line first, got to the finish line first, even though Labate had a faster elapsed time and a faster speed. Tony getting out of the top end first, moves on.
Right, 2 more.
Now we got the Flying H Ranch Racing Team. This is Blake Housley, the 1941 Blue Willies, out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Blake Housley out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, the number 7 qualifier with a low ET of 376. Top speed of 197. If Housley can fully hook that vehicle up, if he can get that Willys to fully hook up from start to finish, will he break 200 mile per hour? We're about to find out. Chris Giuliano sits over there in the Crower lane out of Albania, Missouri, the 1967 Mustang. As he is getting that backed up right now, has a top speed of 194 mile per hour with his low ET of 385.0. One's going to Missouri first, the other is going back to round 2. Yeah, we like to have a little fun with it. These things will happen. All right, spotters, bringing them up to the beams now. It's all on the drivers. Giuliano, Housley. And it's going to be Blake Housley getting to the top end first. 373.8, 199.58 mile per hour is a half a mile per hour from hitting that 200 mark milestone. 058 in the reaction for Housley, a 140 light for Giuliano as he goes 4037 at 182 mile per hour. And we'll see Blake Housley back in round 2 in that Stroud Safety Pro Modified category. Right now, okay, we got Pro Mods sitting at the ready line and they're firing up. Round number 2 elimination, we're going to kick it off with Blake Housley out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Got the 1941 Willys rolling up into the line. Housley is your number 7 qualifier, looking to improve on a 376, but it's Aaron Wells. Aaron Wells out of Edmond, Oklahoma, that Mustang, it's a 1967 model, the number 2 qualifier. Took that Mustang to a top speed of the weekend of 208 mile per hour. Started with a 589 on the first run, went to a 365.9, improved it with a 365.8, and sits number 2 again on that qualifying list. Right now, has made it to round 2. Will Aaron Wells be going to round 3? We're about to find out. Right now, some final checks. They're getting the doors open, trying to get a little fresh air into Wells's Mustang. See the nitrous purge coming out of Housley's 41 Willys there as the crew works on the back end, checking those wheelie bar heights. And right now, the sun low on the horizon, you see those spotters having kind of a struggle trying to look back at the driver because they're looking directly into the sun. The drivers, however, well, they got a great view of the track, straight in front of them. Who's going to round number 3? We're about to find out. Down to the 330, coming up in the 8th, and look at that, it is Blake Housley running 371.6, 199 mile per hour, wins by a margin of victory of 0.04 of a second. Housley got Aaron Wells on the reaction time as Housley went 041. Wells came back with a 144 light. And you know what? He was faster on the elapsed time. He was faster on the speed. However, it's what's called a hole shot. Housley left first, got to the finish first. And that's a hole shot win. So Blake Housley going to round 3 right now. We look back down to the ready line. Who do we have coming at us next? It is going to be Mark Wardehausen. Mark Wardehausen, they call him Tito. And this is owned by the Zimmerman family of Zimmerman Properties. Brian Lewis out of Wagner, Oklahoma. Got that 41 Willys Coupe. And right now, Lewis sits number 3 on that list. Over 202 mile per hour, low ET of a 371.1, but it's Mark Wardehausen who has the top speed of 215, but has a low ET of 373.8, which which put him in the number 6 spot. He has now made it to round 2. Can Mark run solid A to B and go to round 3? Once again, tension in the pits. Tension in the pits. J&A Service Funny Car. Second call. We need the J&A Service Funny Car to lanes 7 and 8. This is going to be elimination round number 2 for you.
Pro 420 is on standby.
Stroud Safety Pro 420, you are on standby. Once again, J&A Service Funny Car. Round 2, we need you to the staging lanes. We have put Stroud Safety Pro 420 on standby. With that, we go back down to the starting line. Brian Lewis and Mark Werdehausen. You said they're just doing that. That's called a clear out? All right. You hear that little throttle brap? It's, again, clearing out. Any buildup in there. Right now, Mark Werdehausen. Oh, look at that. Brian Lewis goes right into the stage bulb as Mark Werdehausen has not pre-staged. And there is just an unspoken rule, if you will, when it comes to drag racing. Oh, he even backed out. He's like, yeah, I don't want to be that guy. So he's going to pre-stage. Did he shut it down? What just happened? He's firing the car back up. All right, Werdehausen. Putting it in gear. Going to start inching forward to find that pre-stage beam. Oh, no. Brian Lewis stalled the car right as they staged. And it's Mark Werdehausen rocketing down into the next lane with a 368.4, 218 mile an hour. There for a moment, I thought Brian Lewis was going to try to get one more step to the ignition and just launch. But we didn't hear it fire up, and they were going to push that Willys coupe back off the line. Brian Lewis, not a happy driver right now. I do not want to hear the conversation that's going on inside that car. So we're going to get Brian Lewis off track in preparation for our next pair. Our next pair coming at us, Keith Haney himself, the Stroud Pro Mod points leader. And I'm going to tell you right now, if he keeps going rounds and if he goes to Ferris, Texas, keeps going rounds, he could make Midwest Drag Racing Series history by being the first, the only 3-time champion, with 2017 champion in Pro Mod and in Rail versus World. Can he do it again in 2023? We'll tell you in 2 weeks, that's for certain. Keith Haney, got the Black Mamba. You know his name? And Robert Costa sits over there in the Grand Prix lane out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, both drivers, we're taking a look here. Haney's number 13. Costa's sits number 12 on that qualifier. This is now round 2 elimination. We've seen them have to lift a few times. I'm really hoping we see some solid A to B passes. If not, this could turn into a pedal fest.
Final call, 420, first call, top drags.
All right, attention in the pits. Attention in the pits. Final call. Stroud Safety, or Funny Car. Final call, J&A Service, Funny Car, final call. Round 2 elimination, and now first call. Stroud Safety and Equipment, Pro 420. We need you to lanes 5 and 6.
Tell Shane.
And Robert Costa obviously just broke. He is being pushed off the line. Haney now has a competition by. Will stage the car, and moment he breaks the beam, becomes the winner of the pair. .330 down to the 8th mile, and Haney goes 4:01.8, 187 mile per hour, with a 0.88 reaction time. Or 3:66. I'm sorry, I was looking at his previous qualifying time. That's my fault. Nope, goes 3:66.7. at 204 mile per hour, and my staff up here are telling me that your brain got scrambled in that dragster ride. You bet it did, and I would pay to do that again. Well, we got the next pair fired up right now. Once again, a 92 on the 60-foot for Haney.
Did you say put out a hit for top dragster?
Yes.
He did say put out a hit for top dragster.
All right, once again. All right, first call. We need the UEM Pistons top dragster, round 2 elimination. To lanes 9 and 10, this is first call. UEM Pistons top dragster, round 2 to 9 and 10. That will put the Pat Busey Racing Engine's top sportsman on standby. You're going to want to start getting towards your pit. We might be calling you here very shortly. Right now, our J&A service funny car. Need to be in the lanes. If you're not there, we do need you there right away. I'm counting 3 so far.
What? There's only 3. Yeah, that's
Oh, is that it? Okay.
yeah.
You know, that totally makes sense. When you eliminate half the field, you're going to only have half coming back. Oh, it's been a long weekend. And yeah, we got a long night ahead of us, trust me. We're going to make it fun. Stephen Whiteley of J&A Service out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Get that 63 Corvette, the #1 qualifier. Sits in the crawler lane. Tony Williams out of Millington, Tennessee, gets off the line in the Grand Prix lane, and Williams has to get off throttle. Whiteley gets down to the top end, 360.40, 208 mile per hour. They were close on the reaction. Whiteley goes 065. Tony had a 070 reaction time, but you look at those 60 foots. Whiteley with a 93.0, Williams with a 95.0. And Stephen Whiteley moving on to the next round. Waiting patiently back here in the ready or on the ready line. Looks like Michael Abate. It's out of New Mexico. Ed Thornton, I do believe, is the #2 in points. Sits over there in the crawler lane at the ready line. They're just waiting for that hand signal to light them up. Oh, no. Looks like Michael Abate. Going to be making a right lane single. All right, so Michael Abate has the bye, apparently. He's going to go first. This is the Pro Mod Slammer class, round 2. All right, so it does sound like this will be round number 1. I was looking at the copy of our run order. They were anticipated earlier, however, with a car count. Well, you know what? We're in round 1. Anything is fixable. All I got to do is say it. I'm sorry. Oh. Yep. Right now, Michael Abate going into his burnout. All right, looking down on the point standings for the Midwest Drag Racing Series 2023, currently right now, Michael Abate sits #5 in the point standings. And that's for Pro Mod. Right now, once again, though, this is Pro Modified Slammer, round number 1. Got our track staff down there with the camera. Our videographer's doing a fantastic job getting all that footage to flowsports.tv. Those of you watching, and give a big round of applause to Braden up here on the mixer right now. Every camera angle as those cars go down track is manually changed. They do a great job. Well, LeBate gets into the stage beam. There he is. And 370.87 at 203 mile per hour. Had a reaction time of 0.36 with a 60-foot of 97.9. Looking back down in the ready line. Looks like it's going to be Ed Thornton. All right, attention in the pits. Attention in the pits. Second call, UEM Pistons, top dragster. We need you in the lanes, top dragster. Second call, round 2 elimination. We need you in the lanes. Sportsman, you are not. Top Sportsman is now on standby. Pat Musey Racing Engines, top sportsman. You're going to want to get to the pits. You're get towards your vehicles. We're going to be calling you here momentarily. Right now, Ed Thornton out of Chiro, California. Going to be in the left Crower lane. In the Grand Prix lane, I do believe that is going to be Ula. That was Todd Martin's former car. We saw Todd Martin down there on the starting line right now. And Ula, I'll tell you right now, is not from Oklahoma. Comes from Finland. Finish record as of 2 days ago was 386. Till Ula got in Todd's car, drove it 2 days ago with a 375, and then beating his own run with a 373. Totally knocking out the finish record of 386. All right, making their way up to the beams now. Who's going to the next round? Will it be Ula Lausmob? His crew chief Jan hopes so. Thornton's in, and they're off, and it's going to be Ula. Rocketing down the track with a wind light, 365.8, 200 mile per hour. Right now, Team Finland down there celebrating with Todd Martin as Jan is absolutely thrilled. We'll see Ula back here. And it's going to be Haney setting the tree. Both of them rocketing to the finish line, and it is Stephen Whiteley by 0.03 of a second on the margin of victory. They almost tied the reaction. Whiteley had a 0.64 reaction time. Haney had a 0.65 reaction time. They were 1/1000th off of the reaction, and it's Whiteley who wins by 0.03. What a race. Big round of applause for both of them. Keith Haney goes 361.9, 205 mile per hour as Whiteley goes 361.7 at 209 mile per hour. That was the matchup of matchups. And now, Blake Housley out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Got the 1941 Willys.
Say that again.
He is the number 7 qualifier so far in this category with a 376.0. Mark Werdehausen, the number 6 qualifier with a 373.8, is out of Seymour, Missouri. Who's getting closer to the finals? Oh, boy, we are going to find out here momentarily. Right now you see Housley got the door open, trying to get just a little bit of fresh air in there. Mark Werdehausen. They know him as Tito. That car owned by Zimmerman Properties, the Zimmerman family. That's Tim Slavin's former ride before he passed.
Roger, 10-4. We have one fair, one final. Final call, top dragster. First call, top sportsman.
Final call. UEM Pistons, top dragster. We need to the lanes. And first call, Pat Musey Racing Engines, top sportsman. Come on down to the staging lanes. Lanes 5 and 6 for the Pat Musey Racing Engines, top sportsman. Come on down to the staging lanes. Top dragster, if you're not there, well, guess what? You need to be there. I only see, we need UEM Piston dragsters. We need you. Here we go. Werdehausen sets the tree, and they're off. Down to the 330, 8th mile, and look at that. There's the parachutes. The wind light goes to Blake Housley by 0.04 of a second. Mark Werdehausen has an 090 reaction time, but it's Blake Housley who has an 075 light and gets to the top end first. Goes 368.0, 201 mile per hour. Mark Werdehausen with a 370 with a 9, 218 on the speedometer, but again, Housley moving on to the next round.
It's 2 and 1. Small block Ford electric water pump. Yeah. Racer and meter. CSI water pump.
Small block. And what is it?
Electric water pump.
Okay.
I have a CSI, so if somebody had a motor or something for it, use that call.
So just small block electric water pump?
Small block Ford CSI.
And that is, where do you want that brought? Do you want it brought up here and then I'll just call you?
Right down here if you need the lanes.
Okay, and what's your name?
Brian Walker. I got the little black.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, attention in the pits. Hey, we got a racer in need. The one thing I love about motorsports is how everyone will help a fellow racer. Right now, Brian Walker with a Fox Body Mustang, he does need a small block Ford electric water pump. CSI preferred, but hey, if you can accommodate Brian Walker with a small block Ford electric water pump, it would be greatly appreciated. Go find him in his pit. Well, right now, Mike LeBate firing up. He's out of New Mexico. He's going to be put down the right side Grand Prix lane. And right now, we got Ulla Lauzamop out of Finland, rolling up into the left lane. This car, that car formerly owned by the co-owner of Tulsa Raceway Park, Todd Martin himself. And right now, Ulla Lauzamop is the number 1 qualifier. He currently broke the Finland record that, well, a couple days ago, 386. Right now, he has a 373. His crew chief, Jan, down there, getting him right up in the groove. That car is owned by Kerry. Just a little clear out, more like a big clear out. And it's going to be Ulla rolling forward. Michael LeBate waiting patiently for Team Finland to be ready. Once again, if we got anyone that can accommodate Brian Walker with a small block Ford electric water pump, CSI preferred, go see Walker. Final call, top sportsman. Final call, Pat Musey Racing Engines, top sportsman. We need you in the lanes. LeBate sets the tree. Down, and we saw a little tire smoke coming out of LeBate's car, but it's going to be Ula Lausmop getting to the top end first by 0.3 of a second. Ula, they tied the reaction too. They both went 0.32 on the reaction. I mean, you cannot get more of a heads-up race. And he runs 373.1, 201 mile per hour. This is your Pro Mod final. What do you know these guys? I don't.
Yeah, agreed. This is a tough one to pick. I mean, Blake's been running really well, and obviously he's got a competitive package over there. But it's hard to take anything away from Whiteley and the Whiteley team. You could see Jim down there talking to some of his crew guys, and Brandon Snyder's done a fantastic job with the Whiteley team, both on the Alcohol Funny Car side and the Pro Mod. So we'll see what they can deliver up here. I suspect we may very well see low ET of the meet right here in the final.
You know, that would not surprise me in the least that J&A Service sponsoring the series. I mean, the Wileys have such a huge hand in the Midwest Drag Racing Series.
So not only do I have Brandon Toon in the car, but they got the best in the business. Jimmy Crenshaw backing the car up. You can see him standing right behind the car. He's on the radio telling Steven exactly where to put that thing in the groove and put it in the stickiest spot on the racetrack.
Well, and the Wileys out of Grand Junction, Colorado, that is a 63 Chevy Corvette. Going to walk out on a limb and say they've modified it once, twice, 100 times, 200 times. Nope, it's going fast. You want to know why? Stephen Whiteley, the #1 qualifier, took that thing low ET so far to a 363.1, top speed of 209 mile per hour.
Agreed, but don't count out Blake Housley. The guy's a crafty racer. They got a good race car, and we could see something spectacular happen here, an upset.
Well, and I think you got a good point there, because Housley's been a little on the shy side with that 41 Willys. There's a reason he's sitting in the #7 spot, because I got a feeling he wanted to make it to the final round and then make a statement.
There could be some strategy there. You never know.
Well, right now, it is all on the drivers as they start to inch forward, looking for that pre-stage beam, closing that real estate.
Here we go.
And they are off. Wow, look at Housley, but the win goes to Steve Whiteley. 360.18, 209 mile per hour. They almost tied the reaction time. Blake Housley went 0.67. Whiteley goes 0.62. And big congratulations to Stephen Whiteley.
Brandon Snyder and the Whiteley team. Brandon, you are the man.
Well, and there you have it from D-Bar-D Racing.
Dina Parisi here, Midwest Drag Racing Series, Tulsa Raceway. I am here with the Stroud Safety Pro Mod winner, Stephen Whiteley. You guys did an awesome job, especially after that thrash yesterday. You guys did an awesome job. So come on in.
Yeah, baby. It is all because of these boys right here. You know, we piled her up. I piled her up in Michigan. Talk about a comeback story. Jimmy, Brandon Snyder, we brought this car out of retirement. This was my dad's baby. Had less than 2 weeks to put it together. They showed up. Brandon ran his race 2 days ago, and then, you know, for it to be out here running the way that it is, you know, I'm at a loss of words. This tonight is a testament of what this Brandon Snyder J&A team is capable of. Take a car that came out of a barn and turning it into a winning race car. You know, we're still in the fight for this championship because of these boys. You know, I'm fortunate enough I get to represent my mom and dad with their sticker on the side of the car. I love you both, and we're going for the championship. Watch out, Haney.
Oh, Haney's gonna have a rough time, I think, in Texas. But tune in when we get to Texas and see what happens. Dina Parisi here, Midwest Drag Racing Series, Tulsa Raceway Park. I'm here with the winner of Pro Mod Slammers, Uli Lahasma. dude comes over here and wins it all. I love it. That's great. Todd.
So this is a great weekend for them. I've had so much fun with them this weekend. He set so many records, personal records, Finland records. He went away 375, 373, went 365 over 201 mile an hour.
And I believe it was 371. Let me look at my notes. No, 373 with the one.
373 with the one to win it, right?
Yep.
So I asked them, so we have 3 things to do. Set another record for you, repeat, or win. And they said win, so that's what we went done. We won. So
Awesome. This is a really good feel-good story, so be sure to follow us on Flow Racing in Texas.